Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel Conflict Zone. Please subscribe and like my videos. Today we are diving deep into what could be a real turning point in the war. Ukraine's secret weapon revealed. We'll cover everything: exterior, interior, performance, safety features, unique selling points, price, and finally wrap up with my conclusion. Let's get right into it. Starting with the exterior, from available footage and images of this secret weapon deployed by Ukraine's forces, you'll notice a sleek, low-profile design built for stealth and surprise. The outer shell appears to be made from composite materials that minimize radar signature and reduce weight. The coloring is matte, non-reflective, with camouflage patterns adapted to typical war-zone terrain in Ukraine: muted greens, browns, grays, enabling it to blend into woodland, open plains, and damaged urban settings. The shape is streamlined, suggesting speed and maneuverability with minimal protrusions or obvious weak points. On its flanks, there are mounting points and subtle panel lines, hinting at modularity. Additional sensors, weapons, or equipment can be fitted. The undercarriage, although not always visible, appears reinforced and designed for rugged terrain operations, likely enabling deployment off-road from improvised launch zones or rapidly shifting fronts. The exterior further shows cooling vents and exhaust outlets that are discrete, indicating heat signature suppression. Overall, the exterior conveys a weapon that is built to surprise, to strike fast, and to survive in harsh frontline conditions. Its rugged exterior also hints at durability, the kind of system that can be deployed in muddy, snowy, or heavily shelled areas without immediate loss of effectiveness. As the war in Ukraine has shown, conditions are far from ideal, so anything that keeps moving and operating counts. So from the outside, this weapon gives you the impression of being low-profile, lethal, adaptable, a credible secret weapon in a conflict where surprise and flexibility matter. Now moving to the interior detail of this weapon system is where things really get interesting. Given the limited public information as you'd expect for a secret weapon, we infer from available sources and analysis the core systems, electronics, propulsion, controls, and integration that give it edge. Inside, first off, the propulsion system appears to be highly refined. Hints from Ukrainian industry disclosures suggest a turbojet or high-efficiency engine powering a missile-drone hybrid platform, for example the Palyantsia missile drone system developed by Ukraine. This indicates the secret weapon likely benefits from long-range, high-speed capability, meaning the interior houses not just propulsion hardware, but also fuel management, thermal shielding, vibration dampening, and a guidance control unit capable of high precision. The avionics inside would include inertial navigation systems INS, GPS/GLONASS or equivalent satellite navigation, and likely local terrain matching sensors or computer vision to allow low-altitude flight and sensor evasion. The guidance and targeting suite inside might integrate EO/IR electro-optical/infrared sensors, laser designators, and electronic warfare counter measures, so inside you'd have a processing core able to fuse multiple sensor streams, target identify, calculate trajectory, and respond to defenses in real time. Thermal management is also critical in such weapons, so the interior probably has cooling channels, heat-resistant materials around the engine and electronics bays, and maybe signature suppression for infrared and radar. Also important is the warhead or payload compartment. Inside you'll find a segmented section where the explosive or whatever destructive mechanism resides, designed for maximum effect against hardened targets or supply nodes. The wiring, actuators, safety interlocks, detonation systems, and secure release mechanisms all need to be highly reliable. The interior structure likely uses composite ribs, honeycomb panels, and shock absorbers because the weapon might be launched or transported in rough conditions, exposed to shock, vibration, and extreme weather. Inside the cabin, if you like to call it, that the control electronics are likely shielded against EMP, electromagnetic pulses, or jamming, given the contested electromagnetic environment in Ukraine. Redundant power systems, may be a main battery and a backup capacitor bank, ensure that the guidance remains functional even if damaged. The harnessing of interior space is efficient. Minimal crew interface, likely none, automatic launch and terminal guidance, with remote monitoring from a control station. The interior also supports modular payloads. You might swap the warhead, sensor pallet, or even add small drones or loitering munitions from within the same chassis. That kind of interior modularity gives Ukraine the flexibility to adapt to changing fronts and new mission types. More than just the hardware itself, the interior also houses secure communication links back to command or reconnaissance units, data uplinks, encrypted downlinks, maybe satellite or line-of-sight radio networks. This connectivity means the weapon is part of a wider network, not just an isolated missile. That is what makes a secret weapon powerful. In summary, the interior craftsmanship, component integration, sensor fusion, propulsion, electronic resilience, modularity, and connectivity all contribute to a weapon system that is more than the sum of its parts, built for today's high-intensity, contested warfare environment. The fact that such systems remain little discussed publicly only adds to the aura of secrecy and advantage. For Ukraine, facing a numerically larger adversary, the interior sophistication of this weapon gives them a force multiplier. Moving on to performance, performance is critical here. Reports and analysis suggest that Ukraine's new systems like the Palyanytsia mentioned earlier achieve ranges in the hundreds of kilometers, speeds approaching 900 km/h, and altitudes between 15-500 m in some cases. Assuming the secret weapon builds on or improves those metrics, you're looking at a weapon capable of deep strikes behind enemy lines, hitting critical logistics, command posts, or artillery positions that were previously safe from shorter-range munitions. The high speed means less reaction time for the adversary, and the low-altitude capability reduces detection and intercept possibilities. The modular payload means some variants could carry heavier warheads, incendiary or thermite payloads, or even electronic warfare packages. The system's agility and guidance suggest it can evade active defenses, correct mid-course, loiter, or retarget, giving Ukraine a highly flexible performance envelope. In addition, by leveraging local Ukrainian production and customization, the weapon likely benefits from quicker maintenance turnarounds, rapid updates, and adaptation to battlefield feedback. In short, the performance is built to surprise and outpace the opponent rather than match them in raw numbers. For Ukraine, it's not about being bigger, it's about being smarter and more efficient. Then the safety features, while safety may seem odd in a weapon review context, it matters from the operator side and from collateral minimization. Inside the platform, there are likely safety interlocks to prevent unintended deployment, secure coding to avoid hacking, self-destruct mechanisms in case the weapon goes off course, and failsafes to abort the mission if the target data is compromised. Given that Ukraine is operating in a high-threat electronic warfare environment, the weapon probably features hardened electronics and shielding against jamming, spoofing, and cyber attack. For logistics and handling, the exterior appears to have secure mounting and transportation covers, ensuring safe movement across variable terrain and rough roads without accidental activation. Given the environment, designers would have included redundancy in critical systems backup guidance, backup power, manual override, or safe mode behavior, increasing reliability and reducing the chance of misfire or friendly fire incident. From the broader civilian risk perspective, the weapon's targeting and guidance systems aim to reduce collateral damage by hitting precise objectives, thereby improving safety in the sense of military, ethical use and strategic politics. So while it's a weapon, the safety design is robust to help ensure that it remains operational, secure, and controlled even under contested conditions. Unique selling points. What makes this weapon stand out? What gives Ukraine a secret weapon? First, the combination of stealth, long reach, and precision. Many weapons are long range, some are stealthy, Some are precise, few combine all three in a production system at scale in this conflict. Second, modularity and adaptability. From the interior review you saw it supports different payloads and mission types. This flexibility means Ukraine can tailor missions rapidly rather than wait for Western deliveries of fixed systems. Third, local production and rapid iteration. Because Ukraine is designing/producing parts domestically, they can customize the weapon to local conditions, integrate battlefield lessons quickly, and deploy at pace. Fourth, network integration. This weapon seems built as part of a larger system. Sensors, communications, drones, command links, making it a force multiplier rather than a standalone missile. Fifth, cost-effectiveness. While many advanced weapons cost millions each, sources suggest some of Ukraine's missile drone hybrids like Palyantsia cost under $1 million. This cost advantage means Ukraine can produce more, deploy more, absorb losses more easily. Sixth, tactical surprise and deterrence. The very fact that this weapon was secret gives Ukraine an asymmetric psychological edge. When the opponent cannot anticipate or defend easily, the effect is magnified. Together, these selling points make it more than just another weapon. It's a strategic tool. Price, detailed public cost figures are rare, secrecy applies. However, as mentioned earlier, the Palyantsia missile drone developed in Ukraine reportedly costs less than $1 million each. Given that our secret weapon seems to be built in a similar domestic context, we can reasonably estimate its cost to be in the ballpark of hundreds of thousands to just under $1 million per unit for production variants. That cost is far lower than many Western long-range precision missiles which run several million each, giving Ukraine a cost advantage. Also, cost in war isn't just per unit. The ability to produce locally, maintain rapidly, and adapt means lower life cycle cost. So if you're thinking how much does it cost Ukraine, the answer is relatively modest compared to the capability it brings, which is part of what makes it so remarkable. Conclusion. In conclusion, Ukraine's secret weapon, the one we've been reviewing today, has the makings of a genuine game changer in the war. From its stealthy exterior to its high-performance interior systems, from precision guidance to long-range strike capability, from safety and reliability to modular adaptability, from cost effectiveness to strategic surprise, all these factors converge to give Ukraine an edge. In a conflict where Ukraine faces a numerically larger adversary and must operate under supply constraints, it cannot simply rely on quantity. It must rely on innovation, adaptability, surprise, and efficiency. This weapon ticks those boxes. That said, no weapon by itself wins a war. It must be supported by doctrine, logistics, troops, intelligence, and political will. Moreover, the opponent will adapt. Defensive systems, counter-measures, dispersal tactics will evolve. The real value of this secret weapon is that it changes the game, not by overwhelming on numbers, but by reshaping how the war is fought. For viewers and analysts, what to watch now? How many units are produced? How often are they deployed? How vulnerable they are to emerging counter-measures, and how Ukraine integrates them into combined arms operations. If Ukraine can scale deployment and keep the opponent guessing, this weapon could mark a real turning point. So from me here at Conflict Zone, keep an eye on this system. It may not be the only factor, but it could be the factor that shifts momentum. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video if you found this useful. I'll see you in the next one.